Hello, fellow Mythrunians, and welcome to another weekly live stream. Tonight we're going to be going over, we're going to be continuing like the dungeon stuff. I did some stuff over the week, but we're going to see if we can make it multiple levels and add some more objects around and stuff. Make it a little bit more fun to explore. And then I think that'll probably close down this topic for a while until, until there's more interesting things. But we'll get started in a second. Let me thank my patrons. You guys are what makes the dream work. Teamwork makes the dream work. So thanks for supporting the channel and or supporting the development. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So I should have my views down there, concurrent viewers. That's really hopefully not accurate. If you guys join, say hi. Reminder that up here in the upper left is where I keep the link to the super secret download for the January release. Targeting another release in June with whatever I've got done at that time, so I'm trying to wrap up what I'm doing with respect to world generation and some other things. And maybe we'll add some critters and stuff to the dungeons. But so yeah, if you go and type that URL in manually and then enter the password, that's also where you can get to the Discord link. Hey, Ram Cram. And get to the Discord link and join us there, and you can chat with me and the rest of the hardcore Mythruna fans that have decided to join. Right, let me make sure I'm not going to unplug my headset with my feet. There we go. All right, so let me get started by showing what I've done since the last time we met. Hey, Jeremy. Hey, Ron. Nice to see the standard crew showing up for the live stream. All right. So familiar logins. Let's go continue. I don't remember whether I went back up to the surface. I may already be in the dungeon. But if I am in the... well, we'll see. I did, after last week, I was lamenting the fact that I hadn't built, like, transactions into world editing. And it turns out I had already. It just was not working right. And so, yeah, okay, so I'm up at the... so here's a bug I found when I was playing with all this. There's a bug in the lighting code that allows the objects that get placed to still have like the daylight stuff. So a lot of times I'll just pick a something like that and then pause, and so that it's reasonable for, but that means that any objects placed are going to look just like they're outside, and that's unfortunate. It's a bug in the code that determines the lighting, and I don't think it affects fade. The moving objects. I think it just affects the still objects. So if we run around here, she should, yeah, so she gets darker and lighter as she does. And it's potentially true that if I were to place an object, let's see, am I still equipped with the wand? Left click places one, yes. So if I place one, and now the other thing is that these are currently separate parts. Yeah, so it's just when they're initially placed that they go around. So I made a separate parts, and I don't have a way of assembling them yet. So, oh yeah. I'm trying to clean these up because I didn't create them correctly, so it's hard to delete them. And why is it important to be able to delete them? Well, because sometimes I regenerate these dungeons, and anyway, how best to get... oh, I know. Let's just do this. Not that. This. No. This. Warp. I think that's it. Oh. I thought there was a way to warp up to the sky. Ah, well. There was, and then when I added the support for marks, 51584 6510 6510. So it warps me up to the sky. We can drop down from super high. Look at the cool terrain as we fall. The golden hour. Alright, eventually we'll hit the ground. Yeah, that's another thing I have to fix probably before the next release, is that the fall rate is capped for some reason and never exceeds 12 meters per second or so. Which means you can actually, right now with this super run faster than you can fall. And that's weird. Alright, so over here's my dungeon entrance, and how I create these now is basically what we ended up with last time, in that I right click on the ground with that special dungeon wand, and it'll build the doorway right there and then drop the dungeon, and then it'll put these little I'll put a little mini map down outside the dungeon. And thing is, like, I keep that object equipped. Like, if I keep this dungeon wand equipped, and then I'll accidentally click the right button and accidentally create a dungeon somewhere. So this is the entrance, and then we can go wandering around, and I've filled in like some treasure chests and things around. But what it does is it generates a dungeon and puts these little campfires down so that there's some automatic light. I've been through here and I put some of my own just fires in the middle of nowhere down. Yeah, so there's a some treasure chests that I put down, and you kind of see. And in one of these rooms, I accidentally put another dungeon. Yeah, right here. We can see that the yeah. I think when the dungeon first generates, everything's lit properly, and then the do build wand and select the. So if we put a thing here, yeah. So there's an entrance right there because I accidentally clicked the dungeon one right there and built a whole nother dungeon underneath. And if we look down there, we could. Oh, I put the. So one thing, the flame blocks you can actually walk into, or they actually have. They're tangible. Yeah, so this generated a different one. You can. I don't know if you remember the map from the other one, but this is a different one. That one had one that went off this way, and this one's a different one. What I want to do is kind of automatically do this, except for line the maps up so they take about the same space, and so that the rooms, that the what rooms would be the stairs, would be lined up, and roughly the 40 by 40 area I have defined for a dungeon would be where they would appear. But it's kind of cool. You can go through here, and I've placed some dungeons or placed some chests down, and I'd like the algorithm to kind of do that. I also have some other things we could place, like jail cell doors and stuff that we could put over some doorways. Anyway, so that's what I was going to do this time, and we'll do that over in the. We'll play with that a little bit over in the blockhead tool before we bring it into here. Oh, that's cool. You can see the laybacks. And I don't know if you guys can hear this, but if you listen close, the campfires have sounds. And if you're in stereo, there's directional, positional. That's another bug. We're deep underground and we can still hear the outdoor nighttime ambient. And I don't know, it could be a similar bug to what's keeping the daylight on these objects, because that's how the underground determines it. Best how I determine how loud to make the outdoor sounds is how much sunlight we're currently getting. Quote unquote sunlight, basically outdoor light. Okay, now the trick is finding your way back out once you've been deep down. And so this is where we came, because we're going to be making some new dungeons when we come back. Yeah, that's a dead end. I think we're back to the beginning here. Yeah. So you get pretty good at finding my way around the dungeons. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know that trick for dungeons. That you drag your hand along one wall, or mazes in general. Drag your hand along one wall. So if like I drag my left hand along a wall and pretend to never let it leave, then you'll essentially never get lost in the dungeon because you can always just turn around, drag your right hand. Also, for any maze, you will always guaranteed to find the end. So basically, you pretend you're dragging your right hand along the wall, and you'll hit like everywhere in the maze. And so that means when you want to turn around, you want to go back out, you just drag your right hand along the wall, and then all the way through there. And after a while, you begin to automatically cut out the dead ends and things like that. And well, yeah, you don't always turn. Yeah, always turn left, and you can't anymore. But the dragging the hand along the wall thing helps me because it's a it's something physical, and it works for real mazes too. And after a while, I don't even think about it, and then my brain just cuts out the things like big rooms. I don't have to walk around the other side of the room, stuff like that. My brain just cuts those out. And when I was playing Minecraft dungeons, and they have some deep crypts and stuff that are huge, and you bring up the map, and the maps themselves are confusing. You can't really see, and it was just that I'm just cruising through them and picking all the things, and that's because I'm just dragging my right hand along the. Yeah, so here was the original dungeon generation. I think that's the one that's actually over here. Yeah, so this is before I made it seed dependent. Now wherever you click, if you click another yeah, I see, we could bump the here, we won't hear all the nighttime sounds all the time. Right now wherever you click, it'll generate a different dungeon. If you click in the same place, it will generate the same dungeon, but everywhere you click, it'll generate a new dungeon because it picks the seed based on the location. And yeah, and I added these metal bars to the top when it generates, so I thought that was kind of cool. You can actually fall through those bars if you're positioned properly. There we go. Oh, so you can wiggle around. There we go. It's a little fun thing about having a real physics collision shape. Yeah. Okay. All right, so back to places where we can edit some stuff. Oh, concurrent viewers 6, eh? Welcome, welcome everyone. If anyone is new, thanks for joining us. And say hi to the regulars. Okay. So let's go over here and talk about what I need to do to get blockhead. Okay. I just want to experiment with some ideas before I bring them over to the dungeon one. And I don't want to do too much coding over here because they're two separate scripts. I definitely don't want to modify the API. So if we go, if my voice sounds a little more dragged out than usual, that's because I spent all day peer programming with somebody because I'm on a new team at the day job, and I'm the new guy, so I got to peer program with one of the guys that's been on the project for a while. So, okay, pair program, yeah. Okay, so I need to fix my the area so that it goes back to dungeon size. Okay. So, yeah, and it was over here that I tested the little mini-map feature too. So if I go over here and I go say execute script, it'll execute the script and build the thing, and then generate the little mini-map up here, which is kind of cool. And this script is still doing the find a start room, find an end room. And I'm going to do something a little different, I think, for... Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so actually I can show you kind of on this map. I believe, actually, how many times can I say actually? in a row. So we will render old style, and we'll add a boolean render map is false. We'll go down here, render map. Okay, so if I execute this script, we should go back to old style. Yeah, okay, so now we can see which ones are the feature rooms, the rooms that we placed down initially. And I don't know how deep I'm going to go into this, but even though this one, so it finds the farthest away, you know, thing to make the end room. In this example, it does not do that for the one that's in Mythruna right now. But you know, it knows the start room, and then it finds, you know, the farthest of these feature rooms away and does this one. But it occurred to me, if you can find the farthest feature room and there's another sort of dead end, smaller non-feature room off of it, that is the best place to put the stairs, because you can imagine there'd be, if you wanted to make the dungeon like a game, right? The user would have to do, the player would have to do all this stuff, fight the big boss in the end, get the loot, and then they could make it to the stairs that take them down to the next level. And so eventually I want to, you know, highlight these non-feature rooms that are dead ends. And so like in that case, this one would almost be a better case, because you'd put the stairs there. Maybe you could have like a treasure room here, you know, couple kinds of a boss and something else here, you know, a puzzle, you know, who knows. But that's the beauty of having this as a graph, is I can think of ways to sort of block the player's progress to these different places. Like here's a whole dead end branch, here's a dead end branch, this is a whole dead end branch. The only way to get to it is through this tunnel. And so like if I put a secret door here, you could never find your way down until you've got the secret door, that kind of thing. I know that I can cut off whole parts of the dungeon. And that's probably graph analysis that's a little deep for a live stream where I'm trying to cram in a bunch of stuff. And perhaps when we get to, you know, proper in-game dungeon generation down the road, we can revisit that in its own topic. Today I'm just trying to make something interesting. So what I might do is, instead of just finding the farthest away place, instead of just finding the farthest away feature room, I will find the farthest away, basically build all of the paths to every room from the start room, and then be able to compare the paths to find ones that are most interesting, either because they're the longest or they're the longest and have a small room, and that'll be where we put the stairs. And perhaps initially I'll just pick one of the closest rooms to put stairs in, just so that we don't have to wander all over the place. And so the idea is generate one level, you know, from a fixed point. This is where we put the fixed point for when the player clicks on the ground, and then the rest of the map builds from there. But then on the next level, you know, maybe we picked this room to be the stairs, and so when we generate the next level, we put a room there that extends up like this one did, you know, without the bars on top and stuff, so that we can generate the next level underneath. But otherwise the field of generation is still the same, so then it will generate one, and then if there's, you know, rooms we like there, we put stairs in there, and so on and so forth. And what I thought would be cool is, like, when I generate this level, I put just that level 1 map out here, and then when you find the stairs in that room, you'll get to see the another object that shows you what the level of the next dungeon is. That's just more for my debugging, and I can take a look and maybe you know, take a screenshot to have a little mini map as I explore. Anyway, so let's get started, because I've like jabbered on for 10 minutes. And the first thing we're going to do is, we may have an easier time testing this by rendering upside down. But let me see if I can easily move the dungeon up. I think I can, because we set a like global offset somewhere. Because I can't go down right now without, you know, I have to move everything up. Okay, so there's the global offset that we set. And Yeah, and so then I zero it out because I ended up doing something different. In fact, I don't think I use this global offset anywhere anymore. Oh, maybe I... Yeah, I think I got rid of all cases of it. So I actually can probably just get rid of this. Oh, so happy to have my macros back. Okay. Let's see if the script breaks if I do that. Yes. Okay, so I don't use the capital global offset, but I do use the little global offset. Now, what do I use it for? Okay. We don't do that. We don't do that. We do. Okay, so I do use that global offset, and that means I use those calculations, so okay, I can't get rid of that. It was a dumb idea. Okay. But that means if I add like 10 to that and to that, it should move the map up. Yeah, okay, so see, we've got places to go down now. I don't encapsulate this very well, though. So other than the fact that the dungeon wand basically it takes a long time to get into the game and a long time to test new script changes, it's better written as far as encapsulating all these different things. But let's see what we can do. So yeah. So what we want to do is essentially everything we just did. And what I will do is then, so this is all generator. So we will call this render map. I should just leave this out for now. It's not important. What we do want to have is here for now we'll just do draw solid if render old style. Okay, so we will do def or render old style equals and make that take generator. Okay, and take these out. I don't think that's used for anything. What is pus? What is pus used for? Nothing. Okay, so I'm just doing that for no good reason. Okay, so we've turned that into a quote-unquote method, and I should be able to say if, was it render old style, so let's say render dungeon old style. Oops, how about we spell properly? And so what I'm trying to do is encapsulate this so I don't have to okay, let's see if that works. Nope. The current scope already contains a variable named generator. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. So let's change all of these generators. No, let's change the one in here. Render generator. What I'm trying to do is make it so I can call this whenever I want to render any, because when I do multiple levels, this level will be one dungeon generator and the next level will be a different dungeon generator. So we'll generate them as separate. Okay, and see, so this has got to be dot rooms. That's something I need to fix. Okay, that should be good. Let's see if it's happy with that. It's not. I mean, something's okay. Well, we can't really tell. It did re-render it, but I don't know why it took so long that time. Because it seemed to take less time before. Right. Anyway, so we can tell if it's working by commenting this out, and then we should see nothing, basically. Oh, it's not happy. 451. Okay, so it is failing. It was just doing its thing as well. Yeah, so we've got a mismatched pair of there we go. That's interesting. Okay, so I don't know why it's suddenly taking so long to generate, but it's working. Oops. And so we should be able to do the same thing. Well, okay, I don't really care about rendering it accurately. We want to render this, you know, like that. That's what it is. It's like it shows the dungeon right away, and then we still get all these logs, and that's why it felt like it was a long time. Okay, so now we do a little graph analysis, and that's what this is doing. But we're going to change this. Trying to think how I want to do this. So a breadth first search, which is what I'm doing, would build out all of these. You know, so this would be path linked 1, path linked 2, and then path linked 3 would not cross, and so you end up sort of with these arbitrary distinctions that, you know, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. It picked one to make that path, and then took the other one. And if it had picked this one first, and then this one has to go all the way around, it's a little strange. But because it won't let the paths cross, it makes some decisions that when you just want the farthest one away, it doesn't matter so much, but when you're trying to characterize different paths, anyway, picking the room is the least of my concerns. So let's just randomly pick one. So yeah, we don't really care about all that. That's the picking the room and rendering. What are we going to? That's rendering the lights. So this is, you know, essentially garbage. So yeah, so let's come down here where I made all this blank space, and this is where we will put generating the next level from the previous. And so what we'll do is, if true, I do this as a sort of self-defense so it's easy to include or exclude things. So for the existing generator, for now we'll just randomly pick a room. Let's see, generator int. See, int test index equals generator dot. It's got methods for grabbing. Yeah, next in range. And so what we'll do is next in range, we'll start with 1 because we don't want to pick the starter room. And generator rooms dot size -1 because it's inclusive. And then so we will say then we want to pick that room. Right. Yeah, so I already used starter room, and that's fine. That's the minimum I need to define, and then we need to do this. Okay, so we need to redo this part and this part to get our dungeon set up. And that. And that. Okay, so let's just get started with that. Ooh, ugly. Okay. First, I would like some indication of what that room is. And so what we will do is we will make a starter room. Well, first of all, yeah. Starter room is already defined in the larger context. So we will make a new room, or create room, and global types default style, and starter room location equals generator rooms sub test index loc. Okay, just for a second. You know, actually, that's actually right. That's actually right. And this helps to spell correctly. Starter room dot size equals the size of that room. So basically, we're making a new starter room from whatever that random room was. And then if I make a new generator, where do I make this generator? There it is, up at the time. Okay. And we'll use a different seed, but it'll still be arbitrary. We'll call this one new generator. Okay, and then new generator, and we will add the starter room dot rooms dot add starter room. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Okay, and we will make the size oh, actually I can just do this, or no, yeah, I don't want to change the original one just for fun. So we want the size to be tall like the other one, but maybe not 12 meters tall. Probably 8 would be good enough. I don't know if you want ideas at this point, but it would be cool that if a room overlapped with another below it, there was a low chance that the floor of the upper one would... Yeah, no, totally, I want to do that stuff. And have traps that drop you down to the other one. All that kind of things, yes, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. And especially if you made it look like a trap, then they might try to avoid it because they don't know what kind of trap it is, whether it's just spikes at the bottom or takes you down to the lower level. But also the way I had those at the top of the dungeon shaft, you know, in the game, I had those bars there. I also want to have these sort of places where, you know, these kind of shafts maybe extend more than one level, and you get bars on the top, and you can see down there that there's a pit, and you can either decide to, you know, somehow hack through those bars and go down there, you know, if they were bars that you couldn't fall through. But it just creates more ambience to have the dungeon connected vertically. Yeah, I totally agree. And there'll be feature rooms where there may be a room with on one level. There may be a room on one level that you've put that's got a bridge going across, and it's a pit, And so and that pit would then extend down into the other dungeon and possibly have doorways running in and out of it as well. So yeah, definitely cross-level stuff I want to happen for sure. Absolutely. Okay, back where was I? Okay, so we made the starter room, we put it in there, and I think initially, if I just let's pretend we've added a whole bunch of rooms, and so the next thing in generation would be to new generator, sort the rooms. If we had, place random rooms here, place other random feature rooms here. That would be there, and then once the rooms have been sorted, actually place rooms might be sorting them. No, I don't think so. Yeah. So that's something that still has to happen externally, unfortunately. Okay, so new generator, place rooms, and then that was mostly all I needed from this section. And then we're going to skip for now the fill-in, but I'm going to move them down anyway. Because I just want to see my starter room in the right place. So fill the rooms, build the graph, generator, random, cross connect. Yeah, we don't need to do that either. Yeah, so we're going to need to do these, but not right now. And then render dungeon style old. Okay, so I need to new generator. Generator, and new generator. So I think that I don't need to do this, or that until I'm actually putting rooms in. And then so we will, what's the render dungeon old style? New generator, and we're going to change the offsets. We need to change global offset and world offset before we do it. Global offset dot. Oh, that's going to be a problem. I only gave myself 10, so let's see, what's the tallest room? 5. No, 8's going to need to happen. So we'll have to move those up. I mean, it will work when the rooms aren't fully rendered, but okay, so that would change the offset of where we're rendering, and to go change this to be like 20 instead. Just gonna look really strange. Alright, let's see what we got. Big problems, lots of errors. Oopsie. Okay, so there it rendered our thing below. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we actually want, let's make the stairway room thinner, but hey, we're started, right? I just want to get this room right, and then I'll play with the other stuff. So I think we'll lower this down just to give ourselves a little room. And then recognizing that it's going to generate one above and one below, we ought to be able to, we want the room size to be 8 so that it extends up into the top, but I think we're going to make the X and the Y fixed at like or the X and the Z. I think 2 because that'll be a 4x4 room, or 3. All right, and then moving down 8 is not what I want to do, I think. Let's try execute. We should get those stairs. Whoa, things went bad. Somebody's unhappy. Cannot set property X on null object. Oh, I never set it. So yeah. Alright, let's try it again. Okay, so we make a starter room under there, but we're way 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How's my offset moving so much though? Because this makes me think I should go like that if I want them to intersect, you know, but that doesn't, I can't make that math work. Why is my size doubled? Okay, well, for now I'm going to ignore that, but it's concerning that I can have a size 8 room, but then I move 4. Huh. All right. Well, let's work on making the other rooms. So we will ask for the number of rooms. Yeah, still 11 to 20, same thing as before. We will then randomly generate the feature rooms. We're already sorting them. 8 concurrent viewers. Nice, guys. Thanks. Okay, we don't. Let's. I already cleaned this up in the new code, so. What are we doing on time? Yeah, so I have to pick somebody up later, which is why I had to move the live stream earlier. Did this time work better for anyone? If you're on and this time actually works better for you, mention it in the chat, because maybe I'll do these earlier. Sometimes on a Friday, it's actually better. I end up sitting around for an hour waiting for the live stream to start, and I'm like, you know, I could have started this at 8. So, and that also reminds me to say there will be no live stream next week because I will be at my teenagers' high school musical. They are performing Bright Star, which is a musical written by Steve Martin and apparently Edie Brickell. So that should be good. So we make the rooms new generator, not old generator. Next in range, we create the room and add it. Whoops. It is nicer a bit earlier. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Sometimes it doesn't work well for what's going on here at the house, but sometimes like I said, I end up spending time. Okay, so now we should be able to put all these back. Oh, these now need to be new generator though. Oh, that one is a new generator. I did that one already. Okay. Okay, I think if I've got everything hooked up, we just generated our second level of the dungeon. Yeah, check it out. So the dungeon has 2 levels now. Whee! So in theory, oh, we got a little guy that didn't get connected over here. That's problematic. Did anybody else not get connected? Oh, none of the... A lot of the little infill rooms did not get connected. So there may be a place I'm not using new generator. Or there's cross-pollination between them that's not supposed to happen. Let's see. We can check by setting the other. So let's so in theory, if I take this and I take a screenshot and then I use that seed, well, that's going to start. It's going to make a different dungeon if I do that. It's not going to work. So something about it is doing that, but why is it not fully connecting them? What's it sharing? Or oops, wrong button. Maybe it is. Oh, no, I don't know. Here's what I'm talking about. You can see this infill room did not connect to anything. You know, there's a bunch of rooms that didn't connect. Actually, if I don't draw the outer, or don't draw the first level, still render it, but don't draw it. Where do I do that? And actually, I want to wrap this anyway. Else, render it the regular way, which we don't have yet, but. Okay, that's, oh. Yeah, render old style, new generator. Okay, I didn't actually comment out the old. Oh, that's if render old style. Okay, yeah. Okay. So that should render both, and I can comment this one out. And it'll render just the bottom one, and we can see that it hasn't connected them, and there's no good reason for it to not have, and it didn't even connect one of the feature rooms, so that's like a huge bug. So there's something going on. I suspect, where's the fully connect? Maybe we're missing a step. Place the rooms. Generate the infill rooms. We did that. Build the graph. Did I not have a build the graph? No, I did. Oh, I know. I forgot to uncomment something. The fully connect. Yeah, there we go. No, now we got a bug. Longest edge is already defined. That's going to come back to bite me later. Okay, everybody's fully connected now. And so if I go back up here and put this back in, let's move this. Well, okay, I don't want to start messing things up. Yeah, so now we get multiple levels. I could do the same thing to generate the next level and so on and so forth. So in principle, this works. Let's see if I can get it hacked into the game in less than 10 minutes. Actually, I can run a little bit long tonight. I just have to, I may have to jet quickly if my child needs me to pick him up. Okay, so we've got the, yeah, we've got that room. connected there. That's cool. All right, and then we could do this again and again. We could make this in a loop. And that's kind of what we'll do in the real code. So we're getting there. And so what I will do, okay, I can cut this out. That was just cruft I kept. Cut and paste this so that in principle we have what we want, and we'll head on over to the base object space dungeon1.groovy. One thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to park this down here for a second, because there was a problem. Like when I do this, I end up testing the dungeons a lot, and so sometimes I will reset my world, and if I don't have a way to clean up all those objects that I've placed, excuse me, they just hang out. And so I have a way to clean up the campfires, but I haven't made a way to clean up, you know what, I just won't place them. I don't have a way to clean up the chests yet. I was going to make that real quick, but it's almost, we're not placing them yet, so it's not really worth it. Okay, so back to Dungeon 1. We want, if the place, let's, so this is all good so far. And then what we will do is we will add a number of levels, level count, and we will we'll start that at 2, and yeah, okay, level count's 2, and hold on. Hand went numb for a second. Okay. Alright, let's take starter room out and put it up here. And what we'll do for int I equals 0, I is less than level count I plus plus what we'll do also is okay, that's the problem though. Starter room won't always be 0. So I gotta render this in the loop. I can't avoid it, but we'll do it as multiple transactions. Okay, so just bear with me for a second. Oopsie. And so I'm kind of, as I go, I'm kind of reading this to see what I need to keep and how I need to modify it to deal with the fact that we're going to carry over a room from the previous level. All these are good. We do all that stuff. That's good. And then here's where I render it into the world. And probably we will set that offset up after. And then I go through each of the rooms and I place a flame and a campfire. Okay. And then I stop, and then I make this little map. That is one thing I will do. Okay. And then, okay, so we're doing that in a loop now. I want to pull out offset. Loc offset. Okay, because that's how we set the where we're going to render. And we set that to starter. We moved the starter room size. Yeah, because we built our first starter room outside, so we can build the offset outside. We have everything we need to do so. That's where the first level of the dungeon goes. And then what I think I'll do is just make sure this works first, but without carrying. And actually, we want to. Where all do we use seed? Just there and there. Okay, so then what we'll do is we'll just like seed ++ down here, and we will offset offset that y minus equals 5. Let's just what's the tallest I make a room in here? 4 is the biggest, so 5 would allow some overlap. Okay, so let's just do that. So this should generate 2 levels of dungeon. They just won't. They'll connect only at the starter room because we don't make a new starter room. And so, or we can though. Let's make a new starter room, and we'll just have our starter dungeon levels connect up. And so we'll create a new one. First we'll say old starter room. We'll starter room. Because we're just going to have the, rather than pick a random room, I'm just going to reuse the starter room so that we can easily test that all the levels are there and that it's rendering correctly. So we'll create a new starter room. We'll make its location the same size. We want this to be, let's try 6. I feel like that's going to be a problem. And then where I render the steel, we will make this if I equals 0. We'll render. Okay, so if I equals 0, then bars equals the bars. Otherwise, we want to just make a hole. So this is the thing that puts those bars at the top of that room. And so this way, if it's the one above the ground, you know, we'll put the bars, and if not, we'll drop down and we'll put and we'll erase it. Okay, so this should generate multiple levels, 2 levels of the dungeon. Let's see what I've screwed up. It's always something, right? And if it works, yeah, it's not going to work. But if it works, there's still 1 minute left. We can maybe pick a random starter room and stuff if you guys are willing to hang out a few minutes. Or random rooms to do the next level. Anyway. There's probably, you know, yeah, half a dozen things I've screwed up. Okay, we're... so let's change this to be level, because I've already used I later on. At least we didn't have to go all the way into the game to find that. Yeah, so I already use I for other things. So that's one error. Boop, 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 ba-doop, ba-doop, doo. Someday I'd like to figure out how to pre-compile these built-in scripts during the build so that I don't even get to the run phase before it finds those errors. But it's right, currently all set up to have user-defined mods and stuff, and so it's all done at runtime. Boo, 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 boo. Alright, so let's make sure I've got my wand connected. Let's find a new place to be. We're going to do this a lot because dungeons are pretty big underneath. So let's go to this clearing here. And we'll right click on the ground here and see if everything blows up. Ready? 1, 2, 3, ba-doom. Things are unhappy. I saw an error flyby. Yeah, no such property I for class object type wrapper. That is on line 295. Oh, stupid. That means it partially... Yeah, that means it actually did create a dungeon of 1 level, placed all the campfires in it, and then, yeah, so... And just didn't draw the top part. And actually... because it killed the transaction, we don't see it, even though it is really there. If I walked forward, we'd probably bump into it. Yeah, so see, there's a dungeon under here. We just can't see it because we never got the events. But wow, it looks kind of cool from this perspective, right? There's the other dungeon over there. I walked just far enough away. I felt like I was walking too far. That's kind of cool. You can see all the little campfires. Okay, so we got to come back in. So we are going to run a little longer tonight. And the Pepsi lasted like I only finished it a couple of minutes ago. Okay. Alrighty, folks who are hanging on to see the drama. And so we should be inside the dungeon. Oh no. We were underground somehow. Oh, because that, it generated all that stuff, and there's all those campfires under there. But it also, so let's move over to another place already. But it also didn't save because those changes didn't get propagated to us, they didn't get propagated to the thing that saves the database either. So, so let's move way over here. We'll make a dungeon in the middle of the woods, which will be interesting. Alright, so let's fall down into the tree here. Come on. Come on. There we go. Come on. There we go. Wiggle around in the wood. There we go. Okay, so we got this creepy, dark area. Let's make a dungeon right here. Actually, sometimes it pays for me to look and see what direction I'm facing. So this is... So the dungeon will grow in this direction and this direction. So if I place one right here, there should be a doorway. Boink. Generated 12 rooms. Yep, so there's this level. That's what this level looks like. And actually, okay, since it shared the, it generated, it made the blocks, it put both dungeons in the same thing because apparently it's sharing something. So both the levels are superimposed on top of each other. But there is a dungeon down here. And that's did it go double deep? Yeah, it did. So we've got a campfire hanging out up there. And probably some... Yeah, so there's a floor up there, right? We drilled our hole through, and we still rendered the campfire up here. Oh, let me get the right keys. But where's my tunnels? There it is. So the roof of the other one blocked off this tunnel. But there's dungeon 1. You know, with all of its... so this is dungeon 1. Dungeon level 1. And then, of course, it put the stairs right in the starter room. So if we go down here, here's dungeon level 2, which is obviously different. Like if we look here, we had a tunnel that went straight back, and this one we have rooms immediately. Okay, so we've got multi-level dungeon. It's kind of lame at the moment because it puts the... There's some error going on with the sounds too, because I'm getting crackling noises no matter where I go. Okay, so was this where we started? Oh, I'm so lost. Ah, there we go. Okay, so we've got, stuff coming off. It should have placed... Oh, you know what? It might have placed both mini-map objects at the same location. It's not actually... It didn't actually generate them together. It just placed them both on top of each other. So probably if I go and I switch into object mode, switch to the object tool. Yeah, so that's what it did. So we've got... So if you want to think of it this way, this is one dungeon. This is the top level. Oops, I'm blocked by trees here. Okay, so this is level 1. Oops. And I'm not going to get them lined up by trying to walk through trees. But pretend those rooms lined up. So that's level 1, and this is level 2. And probably we could have done one more. We could have dropped down one more block. So let's... And I want to generate these near the offset. So let's fix that, and we'll generate one more dungeon, and then we'll call it a night. So that's all good. We want to move down 7, I think, because the floor of one room then will be the roof of the other one, if that makes sense. Because this room size 6 doesn't include the floor. That's where the roof would go, and then the floor is one below that, one below 0. So because this is 6 interior blocks high, and so if we're generating the map, but where are we placing it? So we're placing the map at location, and we did not include our offset. So if we include... We don't want to do that. We want to set it outside the starter room. You know what? That's something I can handle on my own. In fact, it might be kind of nice to see all of the maps there on top of each other. So what we will do is we will make this level. And... or wait, we can even be smarter than that. We can, well, yeah, we'll build them up upside down. So we'll see what they're doing, but we'll see it upside down. No, okay, I will do this right. Level count minus level, and then we will make that tiny times, I think this will make it, so basically I'll continue to let these objects get placed in the same place, you know, those little map objects, but they'll build them, you know, the first level on top, then the next level, then the next level, separated by, you know, 1/8 of a meter. What was the other thing I wanted to fix? I think that's it. Yeah, line those up, stack those. Okay. One more time, guys. We'll find another place to generate a cool dungeon. Okay. Oh, and that was the other problem. The reason that that one level was so dark, the entrance, was because we had overwritten its campfire with the roof of the next level. Oh, I know what I was going to do. Crap. Okay, so let's do, I was going to make more levels. So more than just 2 levels. So let's do 5 levels, right? Let's have a really cool deep dungeon. All the levels just branch off of the main deep shaft. Damn right. Alright. Come on, loading world. This moment of truth, everyone. Ladies, gentlemen. Alright. Okay, we're back on the surface, looking at our cool maps. Let's pick our Dungeon 1 tool. Fly up into the sky. Find another cool place to be. Ooh, hello, fades back. Okay. Yeah, I discovered a bug. I was playing around and generating... I was finding, like, places to generate dungeons in the sky. And I discovered that there's actually a bug where if I modify too many things as part of a transaction, it overflows the client and it kills the networking, basically. And so I can't place them in the sky because it just changes too many things. Because if you place a dungeon way up in the sky, it not only has to modify that dungeon, but it has to modify all the light values of every block beneath it, and that's a lot of things to change. Okay, so this is... So the dungeon will generate in this direction. So if I click here, we get a little pop-up. Ready, set, go. Oh, look at that. Okay, where's my map? Or it's still generating, so I may not see those yet. Okay. Alright, well it didn't move them like I thought it was going to. But it did generate a bunch of them. And so let's see how many. I should be able to use this to... Okay, so there's one level. This is the top level. Whoops. Okay, so that's the top level. This is A level, I don't know which level. This is A level, I don't know which level. This is A level, I don't know which level. But there you can see they're all a little different. Oh, this one, yeah, this one's cool. It's got a big empty area where it didn't generate anything. Okay, so let's go down and see how deep this shaft is. Whoa, hello, fades back. Look at that. We can't see through her... Oh, we can see through her boobs there, so yeah. So this is level 1. Campfire hanging in space. Dungeon directions off in there. And let's drop down to level 2. Okay, so this one's got just one shaft moving off of it. The next level down. Yeah, check it out, guys. We've got a deep dungeon. Oh, this one's got a cool left turn. Yeah, all these campfires. I need to limit the range of... it would take so long to crawl through something. Yeah, I mean, this is crazy, but I mean, if different levels have different creatures and their own little ongoing happenings, you know, depending on how far you can take it, you could make each of these levels interesting in their own right. And so we've got a 5-level dungeon, and could, you know, spend the rest of your life kind of just trolling around, not just this dungeon, but all the dungeons, right? So we've got it. And this is not exactly the way I wanted it to work, but we've got it kind of working, and obviously if I could pick whatever random room I wanted to generate a new starter room, and that would work. I don't know if we really want to do that on this. if there's a strong interest, I can real quickly. But this is the thing, is this is really easy to test. I don't have to wander around to find the next shaft, and that's why this was kind of nice. I like my cool campfires. They really set the mood. And so if I've got this selected, we ought to be able to, in some random room here, like keep to the left turn. But yeah, I need to clamp down the range on these campfires, because basically once I leave that range, I shouldn't hear that one anymore, and I should only hear this one. Okay, so let's grab a, and that's what, this is why it sounds like noise, is because we're basically hearing the low-level crackling of every one of these campfire objects near us, and above us probably too. Okay, so let's see if I drill down. Why is it, okay, there we go. How far down do I have to drill before I get to? Okay, so we can kind of see through the walls, which is cheating. There we go. We drilled down into the next level. Let's make a impossible fire. And yeah, it's basically with all this stuff, I've created kind of a problem for the, yeah, all these objects. You can see there's just tons of lighting updates that are happening, and all of the sound updates. So I definitely need to work on the sound system to turn off sounds that are too far away, because if you're seeing the logs spin by down there, they're basically talking about every time I cross into a new, and maybe it's the logging that's actually slowing things down. Every time I cross into a new chunk, so to speak, you know, Mythruna doesn't have chunks, it has to, you know, readjust all the sounds that are playing, and so I need to limit the scope on those. Anyway, we've got stacked dungeons, and that's kind of like the minimum dungeon stuff. Do you guys have any questions about what I went over today? I can go back up. Let's see if I can trace my way back up to where I was. Yeah, see, so we came up here. Okay, so we made our hole in the ground. I think if I just come back the way I came, while I'm finding my way out of the dungeon, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask. Otherwise, I'm going to start wrapping this up. There we go. There's the outside. I can tell by the lighting quality change. Got the blue lighting because it's getting to be nighttime. And that is where we will end the live stream. Thanks for joining me. All 9 of you who have, I think 8 of you have stuck out the whole way. I appreciate you hanging out with me while I play with maps and stuff, but this, I think, turned out pretty cool. And I appreciate you coming along for the ride. And I hope you all have a great, productive week on whatever projects you happen to be working on. If you're on the Discord, let us know about them. And I will otherwise see you, reminder, not next week. No live stream next week. I will send out announcements that there isn't one, but there should be one the following week. And hopefully I'll have some cool stuff to show, though my week is going to be swamped with prep for the show and stuff, because I'm going to see every single show, and we're volunteering on some of the things. Anyway, thanks for joining, and I will see you all on the flip side, as they say. And, oh, I should probably bring up my standard closing slide thing. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Please comment on the videos if you haven't, or, you know, definitely like. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, all that other stuff that counts as social media begging. And I will catch you guys next time. Thanks.